Blessings and peace, and welcome to the Ice Turner Experience. Something you can't define, you can only experience. Now, I was actually going to wait, maybe a few days. But as I was flowing on the last one of Lover's Digest and the Other Side of Understanding, I wanted to introduce to you a different component of why it's imperative to have such a union that's built on a solid foundation. It's been communicated in different ways. I mean, people have their philosophies on relationships and love and, conversations or game, so forth. But as you know, I don't like to present things to you in a C-spot run perspective. I believe my message and my material is required for you to think, and not only think, but think responsibly. My material and the message that is laid upon my heart is for those that are seeking, that type of education, is seeking new dimensions of power and understanding. See, I believe if you can inspire someone to change their belief, they can change their values. And once they change their values, they can change their habits. And once they change their habits, they can develop their character. And once they've developed their character, they can determine their destiny. Yeah, this isn't really a C-spot run thing with me. Never has and never will be. It's always been about the potency of the message, the potency and the credibility. It's about building something that's going to last forever, something that you can revisit. And although the words haven't changed, but that seed of knowledge that I placed in you has changed you. Then when you go back, you get a different understanding of what I'm talking about. And I know it has its effects because I go back and I listen to some of my old work, and it does the same thing to me. Because I would say the last one I did, the last drop was pretty much raw freestyle. Usually when I make my stuff, I have about 3 or 4 bullet points just to ride the groove of the conversation, because usually when I have a thought and I'm going in the flow of the thought, I usually have 20 thoughts about that thought, and I gotta kind of slow it down and make it more simple, because I don't want to mix too many things in, because I do see in colors and speak in parables. But those that have understanding will gain more understanding. The parable of the sower. Someone will receive it and it will go 30, 60, to even 100-fold. If you understand numbers, then you understand what I'm talking about. And I want to provide something from a righteous perspective. If you are trying to develop yourself and learn this whole thing, as I said before, the more godly you become, the more potent your conversation is, the more potent your, I used to say game, but people have such a negative stigma behind that because of what's been portrayed before. For me, it's not about being slick. It's about being efficient and proficient and effective. And that's the difference between, asserting your manhood versus inserting your manhood. Because I don't really have to make videos or posts telling you this is that, this, that, the third, I'm this type of man, I'm that type of man. No, I'm just going to insert the kind of man I am and then ask you and ask the world, who do men say that I am? I'm many things, but I'm definitely the Son of the Most High. And I've been positioned in this platform to bear a true witness. In spite of all what you see. See, when you're walking in truth, it's easy to spot a lie. But when you're walking in a lie, it's hard to see the truth. And the difference is very significant. Because a man in his rightful place of standing and understanding is a prophet, a king, and a priest. And as these three placements work interchangeably, he has the ability to know his spouse as an alchemist in her nature, changing the chemicals and mixing the right formula to have the balance in her left and right part of her psyche. It's not so much planting the seed as knowing what seed to plant and when to plant and how to plant. How to cultivate that ground, how to water it, and how to give it the proper sunlight. You dig? See, just as an electrician knows the positive and negative or opposite poles of one circuit, as exactly as a man who sees leadership through the letter of the law, which is knowing that polarity is universal. But that's only in our primal state that we understand it as negative and positive, masculine and feminine. But within the spirit of the law, which the spirit itself knows no elements or boundaries of that polarity, but it manifests its understanding through those polarities to accomplish its great works as a healthy union, which is symbolic to the man who has made himself right with all things. And most of all, he is true to himself and to those principles. See, the purpose of a romantic relationship is to lead to the divine relationship. And that is the unfolding of the soul, which builds ever more noble kingdoms as building blocks. And transfers into a vehicle of expression beyond the present brainstorm of this perverted society and philosophy of sexology. See, the wise man can see more noble as his spirit is transcending, not as one who is lofty in his assessment of avoiding the debauchery and pitfalls and fears, but is more so standing face to face in the mirror of it. See, the task at hand for the dignified man in his relationship is to return the divine crown, seventh chakra, to the head upon which it belongs, to purify, to cleanse, to renew, and to redeem all things, as Adam could have done in the garden with sanctifying Eve after she bit the fruit of deceit, instead of following her into that deception. Is what takes place now is we've often masqueraded our intentions or have not examined our intentions, but at the core of our being, I believe that we're on a quest in this lifetime is to find that soulmate or that twin soul and to be reunited with it as our left and right hemisphere of our state of consciousness in triune with Christos or the God eye. Just like I've stated before, that our soul is only a half of a whole unit, like our left and right brain of knowledge and understanding, as twin souls that had found themselves apart from that wisdom of true depth of love and kinship that they shared throughout their many lifetimes together as Eros and Gamos. The perfect depiction of what I'm saying would be King Solomon, Queen of Sheba, who traveled from her native land to meet Solomon and his wisdom that knew all the answers of her heart's desires without question. And they both became infused by that divine essence of the man and woman component of Yah and Way. Yah, masculine principle, Way, feminine principle. You have to look beyond the gender association and see what the expression means. One is logic, assessment, the other one is intuition and inspiration. Okay, now are y'all with me in this? See, a man who only observes the world only knows the effects of it. But a man who observes his worldview, himself, his internal dialogue, understands the cause and truth of all things, because he sees the inner chamber of his reflection, of his psyche, and can see the light in his divine principle. See, that man becomes a living expression of the tree of life. Now, what is the tree of life? Knowledge of self, branches in learning more about you. Wisdom of self, being alert and being aware of who you are. an understanding of self, which is manifestation. What do you manifest? See, the tree of life is only found within the Son of the covenant. And a son of the covenant is found in agreement with the inward witness of the Holy Spirit, Ruach. Nonetheless, it is useful to keep in mind not that one doesn't partake in the first fruits of righteousness and peace by lapsing into violation of the first commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. If you strive to keep the one, you won't struggle with the others. Because that is the definition of self-love as agape. See, in other words, Yahweh, masculine, feminine, principle, is the focal point as a man can safely eat of the face of one that is revealed in a position of the Son in you, which is feeding directly at the hand of the Father, as did the elder brother, or the Word of the Most High, Yeshua, which is in us as our higher being, if we're striving to make the mark of our higher calling in relationship with Him. See, the blessing only comes to them when they are together as the divine masculine and feminine principle, our left and right side of the brain in union with Christos. Just like in Genesis 1:27, a male and female created He them as one person. Who named who? And who gave dominion to name? Let's keep that in mind. And if we look at the following passage, it said, "And God blessed them when the twin souls left and right mind comes into holiness of marriage. They need to be as one flesh, unified mind, to rejoin the souls. Remember, a double-minded man being unstable in all his ways due to the unbalance of his inner polarity, as Cain and Abel. When the unbalance happens, you are killing the other half of yourself, while your other half of you is wandering in the wilderness of life and eating sand until it figures out how to reconnect." See, every union of a couple is considered to be a world, or a world view, or a unified vision. The woman, the feminine principle, should pray for her twin soul to be on his spiritual path in correction, as the masculine principle, or man, is to cover and protect his twin soul in spiritual path of enlightenment and healing. See, this unification takes place when the groom meditates into the divine call to transfer the soul level of the spirit from him to his bride. This is what makes them soul mates, when they are solidified as Yah and Weh, and together as the God component. Knowledge, him, wisdom, her, understanding, their love child, the birth of their vision, Now, in this explanation, it actually had more than one meaning. Not only giving you the understanding or the other understanding of Lover's Digest of, you know, your relationship, your existential relationship, your relationship outside of yourself, and then your relationship with yourself. See, you're only going to love your spouse as though you love yourself. There's so many components to this conversation. You're actually getting Relationship 101 and psychological regeneration. See, a man gives guidance. A boy can only give you foolish games and tricks and gadgets and other playful things. You have to ask yourself, do you want power or do you want popcorn? Because there's plenty of soda, plenty of cotton candy out there. Do you want manna, the first fruit? Or do you want the meat of other people's frustrations? So this is really the higher you talking to the lower you. This is really the future you talking to you right now. You can become when you're ready to become. You have to stop doubting yourself, Neo, and become one with that principle. As I said before, I'm not the author of confusion. I am the clarity and the conciseness of it.